welcome back. Today is a little bit of a little special video, just a little tiny bit, just a little tiny bit. So for those who don't know, once upon a time, I forced this cute guy to be my boyfriend, and that cute guy was the galynthius. And while all of our friends have their own fancy VTuber models, he doesn't have his own. They're gonna change that. And so here's a little video about how I made a full model from art to rig. Hopefully help some of you out because I know I might have a lot of rigging tutorials, but I don't really have everything before the rigging. So here's just a little walkthrough of how I do things. And of course, first, we always need to start with some sort of design. I actually made a design for Gally a few years ago for him to use. At the time, he was always playing Valorant, so I tried to make it really Valorant-y themed. He also likes fishing, so it's like a weird mix of fisherman, Valorant agent vibes, I guess. Luckily, he didn't hate it, and I also made him some PNGs from the design, so he can be a PNG tuber. And you know, all these VTubers, there's some kind of demon animal thing, so he's also a dog. Except everyone keeps thinking he's a cat, so I have to make him more dog-like. Here are his dog PNGs I made for him. I also animated them in Live 2D. I'll try to make a tutorial on that too. They're really fun to make and they're really easy. And then fast forward to this year, here's my sort of sketch. I kept the design relatively the same, but with some slight tweaks just to make it nicer for like a front view VTuber sort of thing, and also to make things easier for rigging. I also want to make some toggles for different hair and outfits, but I will save those for a full tutorial video later. Alright, so I was originally planning on recording a speed paint of my entire process of separating and rendering everything, but I totally forgot to record the time lapse on Clip Studio, so here is a snippet from my last stream I did forever ago, to show how I sort of do everything except on like 1,000 times speed. Basically, I have my sketch and I'll use my lasso tool to cut parts out. And then once I have those parts cut out, I will render them more and add more art for when I rig, you know, there's not any blank spots. The key is just to separate the heck out of everything ever. When in doubt, just separate more. Then bam, he's done, he's rendered, he's finished, he's separated. Except this preview I'm showing you right now is like not the actual what he's gonna look like, because since Gally has really short hair around the side of his head, to make it look good for the angles, I have to add so many more layers. I'll show you guys when I actually get to rigging, but he's all done. I didn't do too crazy on the lower half because I'm just gonna rig from the waist up. So yeah, he's done. So we're just gonna get straight into rigging everything. Of course, as I've said in my other videos, I always like to start with the eyes and everything on the face first, because then I have everything meshed nicely for when I start doing the angles and everything. So I'm more of a start small and then get to the bigger parts of the model for rigging. Although some people do the opposite. I don't know if you can tell by how fast this video is going, but I do show a lot of techniques here that I have not actually taught yet. For my beginner rigging tutorial series, I just did a bunch of basic beginner stuff, and sometimes it's not the fastest way or the most efficient way, but it's what I want to teach for beginners. So eventually I do want to do like a more advanced tutorial series. Like after you learn all the beginner stuff, then when you start to do the harder stuff, you kind of understand what the heck you're doing. Now you might notice that the hair is super messed up right now. Let me just go in here. As you can see, the hair is filling out the sides and everything, and when you look to the left and right, there's just not enough here filling out, and then I gotta fix all the sideburns and stuff. This is mainly because this is my first time doing this kind of hair rig, so I just kind of put in some basic shapes and stuff to block it out, so when I actually start rigging it, I can see what I need to add in. This is also the reason why people say you need to find a good artist for your model that does VTuber models really well in terms of separation and knowing what they can do and what they can't do, instead of just getting like a really good artist. Because I'll tell you what, if I didn't know how the heck to rig, you would not be getting all this from me. But anyway, now that I know how messed up it looks when I look to the side, I'm just gonna turn it over. And then I'm gonna take a screenshot of this angle. Bam. Now I'm gonna put that into Clip Studio Paint so I can see what layers I need to add in. Alright, if you're asking why it looks a little weird, it's because I use Clip Studio on my iPad. So here we are on my iPad. I had pasted in the angle here. So let's just expand that so it's about the size of my model's head. If it would stop being so weird. Alright, so let's see what we need to fix here. Let's just redline this, and obviously we're gonna need some hair back here. A lot of hair back there. I also need a clipping layer to hide the sides of the hair here. And then I need another layer under here to actually show sideburn, sort of. And then I'll just speed paint all the extra hair here. You can kind of see how I do my whole separation and rendering process here. I am a painter, so I do everything on one layer. I also added some back hair for when he turns his head. You can see it in the back. Okay, so fun fact, I actually streamed me rigging the rest of Galley on my Twitch the other day. So here is the VOD from that, except sped up like crazy. The extra hair I added was pretty helpful, but it was still kind of complicated and it took me like an hour and a half to figure out how to do the side of the hair, make it look okay for the angles. I made it a lot harder than it should have been, but in the end, it works, sort of. The rig overall from the stream is kind of really bad, but I'm gonna fix it before his debut, so don't worry about it. And like I said earlier, I only did the waist up, so his legs don't move. But do they really need to move? No. But yeah, enjoy the rest of me rigging him, and I'll check in back with you after this whole part is over. And ta-da! It's kind of done. It's a little done. He moves a little bit. His hair is not atrocious. It's kind of bad. Everything's a little bad, but you know, I'm gonna fix it up before his debut. There's a lot of things I need to add, but you know, it sort of works. But now that his model is basically usable and done, let's work on the other debut materials. Of course, we gotta do the fabled slideshow that all the VTubers do, and then make some new streaming assets, maybe like a new overlay, like a starting soon screen, because Galley never uses a starting soon screen, so maybe I'll make a little silly one for him. And of course, all the other little things that can go into a debut, but I will leave those as a surprise. If you want to see them, come to the debut or don't. I'm just gonna speed run this in here, but I just made some really basic little slideshow stuff in Figma. Of course, there's probably easier ways, like just using Google Slides or something, but I'm just really used to Figma, so my Figma slideshows. Of course, I got all the basic information, likes and dislikes, things he's into, credits, and I will have him fill these out later so you guys don't get spoiled by what animes he likes or what food he doesn't want to eat. And then I whipped this up really quick, but it's just a silly starting soon screen. It's just his little dog self going back and forth and me writing starting soon in the corner. I'm sorry, I don't have time to make it immaculate right now. One day, eventually. Alright, so that's about it for my very scuffed, very quick model making debut prepping video for my boyfriend. Of course, I didn't include all the other little debut things. If you want to see the rest of the things I prepped, you're gonna have to come to his debut. When is his debut? It's on his birthday, actually. When's his birthday? June 29th. In a couple weeks. Or next week? I don't know when I'm posting this video, but it's really soon. So if you guys want to check it out, just go to his link, paste link here. This is his Twitch, galynthius, at galynthius. I'm gonna say the debut is gonna be at maybe 8 p.m. CST. I can't promise anything, but I can't promise that a debut is happening on that day. So make sure to make it, or don't. But make sure to say happy birthday if you can. It'll be an eventful debut, I hope. Maybe. And you can see how scuffed I rigged his model. But yeah, that's about it for my little speed run. Hope you guys enjoyed the little showcase I had. I will be using his model for future tutorials, so get used to looking at it. Otherwise, I'll see you guys next time, or I'll see you at the debut, perhaps. Nonetheless, goodbye!